Yay!
Yay, we're here.
Finding peace in times of great change, day 17. I'm sorry, 18.
Day 18. Don't mess with the days. So we're on day 18, and day 18 happens to be a special day because not only are we on the second day of embodiment, but I also have the wonderful pleasure of, I'm just about to introduce you, but we just finished off this meditation that was nuts around sort of activating our toroidal fields, and the dog got the zoomies in the middle of the program. It was adorable. So there's no question we did something. I just want you to know that every day, and you'll feel it today just as much, because for instance, it's almost like we can do the work of connecting, or moving the energy, or getting out of our amygdala, or activating peace and all that kind of stuff. But when you add love to it, it amplifies everything, right? It's like love is such an amplifier. So tonight should be entirely amazing, because just like I love my husband, I just absolutely adore our guest tonight. Um, Her name is Merina, and Merina I met not so long ago, a couple of years ago, through my dear friend, another person that I love her passion. Her name is Valerie, and Valerie, oh my gosh, Valerie could not say enough. And I really respect Valerie. And she could not say enough about Marina and her abilities in acupuncture, her mastery in, because it's not just about acupuncture. You got to get, like, I love me the curious people, the people that go down the wormhole of what's possible for their vocation, that just never endingly are curious about the different dimensions of what they do. And because because I can feel how much curious people care about what they do. And Marina, you are absolutely a primo example of someone who cares deeply about her clients, because my first session with you, I was like, I've never had an acupuncture session like this before in my life. And I don't say that lightly. I really want you guys to know that the care and the love and the purity of her alignment with herself has such a deep effect. It's like the who's doing the treatment is just as important as the treatment itself. So thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being so genius and curious about what you do. And thank you for bringing all of you to every appointment I've ever come to. And for bringing all of you here so I can literally share you with other people I love. Yay!
Thanks for doing this. This is brilliant. Just brilliant.
Yeah. So you've just been through it. Just to give people a little bit of a background. I mean, a lot of the people that I've invited to the 21 Days Girl have been people that have just been through it. Literally, we're finding peace in time is a great change here in Asheville. So, so how's it been for you these last few days? Like, what have you been doing for yourself? Because your house, your area, all of that has been affected.
Yeah, luckily our house has been in good shape, so we didn't have that. But of course, the area was greatly affected, and I mean, all the devastation, of course, around us. But what I've really been conscious of and in tune with is the deep sorrow, the deep feelings of lost. And I felt that, I felt those times of just like, where am I? What am I doing? Waking up in the morning going, where am I? What do I have to do today? Yeah. And that brain fog that's come in and can't quite remember things. And I've seen that with a number of different patients. And so doing a lot of my own self-care, as well as, connecting to some peers, even like Whitney, to help kind of recalibrate all of us, and then me, and then using the EE system, using all my other technology than my toys that have been so helpful and so much aligned with exactly what we needed right now, what I needed right now, me and my family. And it's been a journey to delve deeper into the needs of not just simple emotions, but the deep generational traumas that have been bubbling up because
Mhm.
and going deeper now has brought a whole nother level of my own work to
Mm.
I'm standing in the presence now. I've got my tools. I've been able to really change myself and come into this present moment. But wow, all of this deep generational trauma, or even just all the time that people have had, it says it brings so much of it, and being able to have the tools to help them move through it has just been a real gift for me.
Mm. Yeah.
And that's where I'm so grateful for what you're doing, because everything's coming to the surface.
Right.
Everything's coming up. And so let's jam together in a
Yeah.
place of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this field, I keep saying this field, there's been the field that was created from a million people being in this experience has been just ginormous. And the energy has
Right.
changed so much. It's like,
Yeah.
how do we, yes, somebody says there's no place to hide. Yeah. Where do we go? What do we do? And then now it's us light workers, us all who are like, okay, we got to stand in our power now because we can't shrink. We can't. And it's not out of defiance. It's
Yes.
out of purity and power, not fear or not defiance.
Don't you find that there's like for me the word that's come up over and over again is like there's almost like a sense. It's weird because sometimes I'll wake up on in a different vibe, but mostly I find myself sinking into a very newfound sense of resolve. Like that's the word that keeps hanging out for me. It's like I'm resolute, like I'm resolved because
Mhm.
there is a choice. Of course, you could leave the planet. You could, I mean, you can always choose. You're free to
Mhm.
choose.
Mhm.
Feel this internal sense of resolve that, well, okay, I guess this is it. You know what I mean? Like, I guess this is why we were born. Like this
Right.
time
Right.
is why we were born. So, like,
Right.
I guess it's not talking about it anymore. It's
Yeah.
just like, we all get to. So it would bring me to something else. There's a question that I meant to ask tonight that I was thinking it is our time exactly, Adam. There was a question that I was thinking about, and everyone, if you haven't put your word in and where you're calling in from, please make sure you put it into the comments. And love you guys. Um, there's a question that I had. Like, I don't think I've ever asked you this question before, but it always kind of, for me, hooks people into, uh, your heart. So, why did you start doing acupuncture? But it's not just why you started doing acupuncture, because you have an energy enhancement system. You have like a whole bunch of scalar things. It's not just the energy enhancement. You're masterful at using um uh oils. And what started you down this path? Were you always this way? Were your parents that way? Like, what actually catalyzed you to this path? Because I can tell you right now that the path that I'm on, I was definitely not doing that at 19 or 20 years old. So what was it for you?
Well, it started at birth because I had a birth trauma, and my left hip was dislocated. They didn't find out for a couple of months,
Wow.
and so I grew a little disproportionately. And then they finally had me in a cast, and my mother was very, very not happy to have a child anyway. So feeling broken all the time,
Yeah.
and and then having to be taking extra care. So I felt broken from the beginning, And then that just became this journey of always feeling like there was something wrong with me. And at the time, I mean, it was true, but but that stayed. And so there was always this need to fix to get healthy, to fix and to heal and to be better. And so that was the real motivating reason I really went into that health track.
And you didn't go down the traditional. It's, I mean, I relate so much to your story because I also had a birth trauma, by the way, and
Mhm.
so it's like not a physical one like that. I was sick as soon as I was born. I had roseola, but the only reason I share that is because, much like you, there 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 have been a lot of things that I had to kind of let go of my traditional ways of thinking about things,
Mhm.
start to allow myself to be aware, which, by the way, going in your EE system has been such a formative thing
Mhm.
for me and my clients and everyone that we've introduced because it's been amazing. But did you kind of have, before we leap in, did you kind of have this idea of, um, like, it doesn't really matter? Like, did you ever have any judgment looking all these advanced technologies, or were you always, it's almost like you were wired to look at the advanced technologies? Like, you almost, did you reject traditional, or was it more like you were just magnetic to the other things?
I would say the latter. I was magnetic towards the other things. I was reading Dirk Pearson, Sandy Shaw's health
Mhm.
extensions, life extension at a very young age. All of my middle school interests were about health. So Psychology Today, all the health and vitamin things that I could find and nutrition things that I could find. And I would tell my mom about them and all of the things that she could do and take so that she would be young forever. Um, and so I became, an armchair health coach or doctor. And some at some point it
I
was
love that.
just go like, yeah, there she goes again. I was like, yeah, but you can do this and you can do that. And I had college radio shows and I mean, all sorts for the health of it. I would do all
Yeah.
these shows. So I think I was just wired for it. It was it. I mean, that was destiny. It was, coming out
What's
of that.
What's so funny is, like, I wonder, I bet you we have a bunch of listeners right now who are in the same boat, where you just got so curious and you became the armchair nutritionist or whatever it is. It's like, but, isn't it interesting how that, like, the whole rest of your life could be formed by those curiosities so young
Yep.
in life? So,
Yep.
dude, okay. So we're talking about finding peace in times of great change. And we're talking about how it's so easy to get triggered in this world right now. It's kind of like our nervous system is already on hypervigilance because of everything that's going on in the country and the world, the
Mhm,
wars, this and that, and
mhm,
every system is up to change.
mhm,
So so I asked everyone and I asked you to bring something elegant that was personally that had personally affected you. It's like something that you use personally to find peace in times of great change. So my question is, so you shared with me earlier that there's a specific oil that you wanted to talk about, and I'd love for you to share about that and why bigger picture oils are so powerful, and smaller picture why this particular oil is so unique and beautiful for these times.
okay. Essential oils are powerful mostly because they have a consciousness. And like every plant, they come from plants. All plants have a consciousness. We're life force, all chi, consciousness. And every one of them has their own particular inner nature, just like we do. And the particular nature that I really enjoy working with the oils on is their emotional and spiritual capacity. The one essential oil that I've used right now, especially during these times and even during the 2020 and other really intense times, has been helichrysum. I used to call it, Hare Krishna or helicopter, but because I couldn't say it. But
That's funny. How do you actually spell it?
it's HELICHRYSUM. So
Okay.
Heli, I'm like, okay, helicopter, I got that. And chrism, so like christening, like, and
Mm,
so it's called everlasting. It's from the flower, the everlasting flower, and it really is about our everlasting nature, because our souls, our spirit, are everlasting. And what this particular oil's consciousness brings is its ability to connect with the deepest traumas that we have had generationally, and even just acutely, but open up the scars, and soften the scars within our heart and within our being, all the traumas, all the miasms. And this particular oil, in its gentleness, it just has this way of relaxing us into our peaceful place, our innocence again.
mhm.
And what I love to do is use it on this point on the middle of the chest, called CV17, all, or Primordial Child, or Sea of Tranquility, depending on the Chinese translation. But the oil itself has just this transforming, really old, ancestral, unresolved, like we're talking about resolved, but unresolved wounds that just go, we don't even know that they're there. We have no idea. And they perpetuate our lives in ways that we have no clue, or just, it's like, why am I like this? Why is this happening? And so some of these old wounds can really be brought up to be healed. And I think that's certainly the gift of what this is about, this time is about, and that we have more capacity now because we have more light that's here to support us to do this. And there's shedding of light on all of that old stuff. But this oil like has that way to really bring out the clarity and move our energetic field past this generational trauma.
It's like a conduit.
Yeah.
Yes, like a facilitator of it almost, it sounds like.
Yep.
So then so if we were to go, what would we, okay, so two things. One is, if we were to use the helichrysum and we were to go to CV17, would we take a drop or two of the oil and kind of massage it into the area, and then what would we do?
What we would do is, yes, take a couple drops and hold it. Really, it's really holding that place. This is the place. It's right here, right on the sternum and the center line, along the CV line, which is conception vessel line. And conception, of course, is life force. Where we're conceived, and that as that line comes up from our perineum and it comes all the way up here, we're getting spiritually deeper and deeper access. And here we are at the heart, between the breast and the lungs, where the heart is and the lungs, and all of that opening up that heart chakra. And CV17 is about, you don't even need the oil for it, because they didn't have the oils all the time, and we do acupuncture on it or acupressure. But holding that place brings us into greater awareness and centeredness and personal growth. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, Adam. I love
That's
it.
Adam's chest right there. That's his.
That rocks.
Nice, Adam. Nice job.
She's keeping me on my toes.
That's awesome.
That's right. Right. So it resolves our sense of anxiety from separation. So when we're separated, we feel much more anxious. And now when we come back to ourselves, to this place of holding, this place of pure nourishment, pure love, pure nourishment, and we can come back, that anxiety is released and relieved through that really harmonious place, and bringing that feeling of innocence back to ourselves, because ultimately we are innocence,
Mm,
innocent.
truly, which is so powerful, and yet it can be so, like, there's this combination of powerful yet vulnerable, right? It's
Yep.
like
Yep.
completely powerful, and it's because of the vulnerability of
Yep.
that,
Yep.
right? Going into life with an innocent, with a, I would say, a student's mind, just being
Yeah.
vulnerable to it
Yeah.
all.
One of my patients just had a baby. She'd been trying for a year. We've been working together, and she had a baby. It's that. I mean, it's such a perfect child. I mean, they're all perfect, but boy, wow, there's just so much innocence, and that's exactly what it is. This is the primordial child. This child is just, it's totally helpless. And yet it gets everything it needs. All
Hello,
its needs are met.
girl.
And so when we now and I use these as allies for us to kind of come back to this energy within us, when we can take all that we've been through, all of the scars, all of that energy of fear and anxiety and separation, and go, okay, that doesn't define me.
Mm,
And
yes.
these have helped kind of build my character a little bit, but it doesn't define me.
Right.
What defines me is the true innocence of who I am. And so this oil, this point, this place of breathing, even some of the box breathing you were talking about in some other classes,
Yes.
all of that just brings us back to the truth of who we are.
You know what's really interesting about this is that being able to actually hold that point and I imagine holding that point, like not being getting all serious about it, but actually just bringing presence to that point. And then I imagine I can just feel already this sense that those protective mechanisms and those ways that we try to control after we've been through trauma, the
Mhm.
ways we try to separate from other people, it's like
Mhm.
from holding that point, at some point, I mean, I can feel it just doing it right now.
Mhm.
This, like, dropping into almost a sense of, "Oh, yeah, there I am.
Mhm. Exactly.
There I am," like the primordial child that you were saying. It's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, there I am. I'm here. I'm not all the rest of this stuff. That actually isn't me."
Mhm.
Right? And I kind of have been feeling, because 'cause I've been holding that point. You can't see, but I am holding
Yeah.
that point the whole time we've been talking. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I even feel as I'm doing it too, my voice gets deeper,
Mm,
pleasant. I mean, I did it before we came on,
mhm,
and yet, get excited, but just coming back now and just right now, and I've got the helichrysum, I'm smelling it and
mm,
balancing my brain, it's balancing my heart and
mm,
connecting to my sacral. So this whole line of connection back to our source, the source
mhm.
that just made us purely innocent and beautiful and amazing.
The cool thing is that that vulnerability and that innocence is what makes us available to source, right? Because now
Exactly.
there's, not only are we not protecting ourselves from people, now
Mhm.
we're like, "Oh," and I'm gonna go back to something you said earlier. "Oh, I am a divine child of God, but I was born a divine child of God." And
Mhm.
isn't it interesting how I could literally do next to nothing and yet receive everything I need? What a great, what a grateful circle of everything you're sharing right now. I love that. Is there anything you want to say? Is there anything, like, we're approaching, all sorts of things get drummed up. Never mind what's going on in the world. We're heading for a holiday season here. So, right?
Yep.
So, is there anything that you want to just say to And is there anything you do for yourself to actually help yourself be fully available to the gifts of this time of
Um, yeah, they're all simple. It's just breathing. It's doing my own connection to source, and through the meditation, through prayer, through whatever practices I have. But the essential oils have been essential in my growth, because it has brought me back brought me back to center. But our sense of, I mean, I'm an acupuncturist, but our feeling, a lot of my senses are right here at my fingertips. But our senses, our touch and our smell, are primary, and they are the things that bring us back to the moment. And so I have to remember a lot, even with somatic, it's even in somatic work, but breath work, whatever. I remember to come back right to here into my center and say, okay, this is the only thing that's real. This is the only thing that's real. And I'm a heady, I'm like, but this is what really brings me back. Some of my favorites, and I wasn't gonna share it, but I love it so much, is that there is another point called Shen Men, which is heart opening, and it's in the ear, and it's just even without any oil, but taking your pinky finger and going right here to the triangular fossa, right in there, right at the top of the ear.
Oh,
And
I know where that is. Yeah.
holding these two places, and it's like, stick it in your ear, but you can tell. But holding those places, we do acupuncture on it too, but it's connected to the brain, and it just starts to calm the whole brain, and it's the parasympathetic. You feel it?
Yes, I do.
So this can be also something that is just on the lawn. It's like, stick it in your ear. And just,
you remember it. That's great, Marina. I love that. Actually, that's
brain shifting, on right away. And bergamot is fantastic for it.
good. So it's bergamot and your ears,
Bergamot
and helicopter and your heart.
That's right. Right.
So Marina, thank you. It's just nice to have a home to come to, for everyone to be able to come home to. There
Thank you, Adam.
you go. Thanks, sweetie.
Yeah.
Man, you have been resourceful tonight, Lamb.
I think that's where you stapled me once, right? Right.
Yes.
There. Oh my God, it hurts so bad.
Well, that was you needed the big guns.
I know. And I appreciate that you brought them out. Thank you.
And thank you for stapling my husband. I appreciate it deeply. I'm actually gonna do this tonight as I go to bed. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I feel is being called for.
Yep.
So everyone, I'm so happy that I got to share Marina with you all. If you're ever in Asheville, just make sure that you get your little butt over to her EE system. And if you really want to treat, see if you can, I mean, she books out pretty fast, but see if you can get an acupuncture treatment in the building where the EE is, because that's super fun. That's
Tailors.
super yummy. And so you guys, there's so many ways back home.
Yeah.
We've been asking for each other. So imagine that each of us who do work to help other people, we've been prayed and asked into existence. It's not just our passion for what we do, but we all together have been asking for each other's light. And I am blessed to share the genius that is Merina with you, and equally blessed to share all of these really beautiful humans. Make sure that as you listen, try what Marina just said. Maybe you're trying it just right now, but I'm just going to remind you that this is not a passing thing. You know, you just got a tool to remind you to come back to the primordial heart of who you are.
Mhm.
How cool is that? And that you can do it for yourself anytime. It doesn't cost anything. You could literally do that anytime. And you can put your fingers in your ears any day of the week.
Right. And your
And
fingers in
then,
your heart.
right. And the cool thing is the universe created all these things that we can do. It doesn't matter if you're short or tall, rich or poor, like we can do these things. Right? So we're all in this together. Any final words, Marina, that you want to share? By the way, Marina Wellness is the website that we just put up. But Marina, is there anything else that you want to share? Just thinking about where the world is at. They were kind of, especially in the US, in between an election and an inauguration. And no matter which side of the aisle you're on, everyone's like nervous and
Mhm.
anxious, and it just seems a lot of unrest in the world. So
Yeah.
what's your final message for everyone when you just check in and just feel into everybody that's listening or going to listen?
That you have power beyond your knowing, conscious knowing, and that it's time to tap into it.
Mm,
Really with resolve, with determination, with truth, with all of you and the support. Call on the support. It is here big
mhm,
time.
yeah,
So let's all band together and connect to our lights and all of our lights together, because we are way more powerful
mhm.
than we've been given the message about.
Yep. Yeah.
I also want to say I have a book, Acupressure with Essential Oils, that has a lot of these points and oils combinations
There
that
you
you
go.
can connect to.
And they find it on your website?
Amazon Acupressure with Essential
Okay,
Oils. Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
So you guys, all the tools.
yeah.
All the tools are there. It is, you know, you're not broken, you don't need fixing, and everything you need is right here. So
Mhm.
guys, Marina, thank you for being a piece of the puzzle of my heaven on earth,
Yeah, thank you,
quite
Jennifer, for being
frankly.
my heaven on earth too. Really love you.
And I love you too. You guys, the YouTube channel, okay? The YouTube channel is where you can find all the repeats and the replays. If you want to listen to this conversation again, you can go there and listen again. If you want to kind of get the context for everything, always go back and listen to day one. That really helps. Kind of gives you an outline of what we're doing, why we're doing it. You know what I mean? Um, and I want to remind everyone that this entire thing was the result of me asking a really important question, and that is, what is the greatest thing I can do with the skills I already have that would make the biggest difference as far as I can connect with, that would have me waking up inspired and going to bed knowing that I contributed something of my heart today? And so I'm going to put that forward to you all. You get to be a leader in your life too. What's the answer to that question for you? If you were to play your instrument in the symphony of life, what would it look like? I don't know. I have no idea for you, but I look forward to future days in these 21 to find out actually, what that actually is. I want to say thank you so much, Miss Sassiness, and everyone else who's been here today. I can't wait to see you tomorrow, 5:55. Remember, you can go to YouTube and catch us at 5:55. You can go to facebook.com/Wide Awakening, and you can go to linkedin.com/Jennifer Huff. And of course, you can probably find all of my guests there as well, but you can go to their websites, and we've posted all of those both in these StreamYards. And yeah, we're all in this together, you guys. Let's amplify and exponentiate. Hello. So Merina, thank you again. Big friggin' squishies to you and your beautiful home in the mountains. We'll see you real soon. And everybody, thank you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow night. And finally, Adam Lamb, you're a rock star. I love you.
Thank you, Adam.
Adam Lamb is learning acupuncture on the fly from Merina during this entire thing. It's hilarious. So thank you guys. See you next time.